Welcome to Happily Ever After podcast
with the Raj family. We have an interesting topic today and something that we have experienced both sides, and we want to share about that today.
Yes,
Do you want to tell what the topic is?
sure. So it's expectations or our expectations versus the realities we faced in our marriage.
Yes.
Every marriage is unique, so it will be different. But these were some things we really want to share that we experience.
Okay.
So do you want to start, honey, with one of your expectations versus
Expectations, yes.
reality?
Well, growing up, I always thought that when I'm in a relationship or when I'm married, there won't be any issues because in my mind I was thinking, we love each other so much, we will understand each other so much, we will be on the same page so much that we won't have any issues. Even if we have any issues, I was thinking we can just talk it off and it'll all be sorted out. Well, the reality, even before we got married, the reality is it's a no. And it helped that we were reading this book, Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It actually helped me to understand actually issues are good. Who would have thought? Issues are good for your personal development and also for your family development. I was so confused in my mind. Why would anyone want to have issues? If it is a perfect relationship, if it is a perfect marriage, then there should be no issues, right? But then as we read through the book, I was realizing these issues help us to get stronger and stronger in the marriage, in the relationship. It'll help us to understand each other more, where you come from, where I come from. And these issues will strengthen us in the future. So maybe I have certain issues now and you have certain issues now, and we sort it out. But then in the future, if we decide to grow from it, in the future we will not face the same issues. So that was my expectation versus reality, because I was in a Delulu land thinking that, okay, there will be no issues, but there will be issues. It is more on how we deal with those issues
That's
that
right.
makes the big change.
That's right.
How
yeah.
about you, love? Or if you have any other point to share.
I think, like you say, the perspective when there's issues, if we see it as an opportunity to learn more about the other person, to become a better person, and to grow on how to deal with differences in a mature, healthy way, then it's a very important aspect of our relationship to have differences. And it will even make you question yourself. If you had no differences, how come you have the same exact genes? Like, you are not twins or identical twins. So how come you have absolutely in everything you agree? Is one or the other person maybe not truly honest or very much a people pleaser?
Yeah.
So if you have a genuine, honest relationship, there will be differences, but those differences will help us to broaden our perspective, our understanding, our empathy. And so it really is a positive thing if we learn how to face them.
Absolutely. I agree.
So, no, that's a very important one. And I appreciate it so much because another thing that was my expectation is that when I would get married, my husband would actually show his real character. So maybe he was a better guy while dating. But then when you get married, then there's no more trying to woo the other person and win them to you. Now the deal is closed, and like every deal, once you pay for it fully, then people, do their own thing and they show you that they're not really honest or follow through. So kind of that concept in marriage has been really out there as well. And many people say, once you get married, then you'll see the real thing. It's that all very nice and rosy in the relationship. But then in marriage, you see the real character and they become more sloppy in their way of carrying themselves. So I was expecting that. I was expecting to see a guy that was not so caring, a guy that would be a little more rough, and that would just maybe be a mess that I would find out, you know. But in our experience, to my surprise, the reality was that I started to see more of who you were, your character, your heart, and it was even more a depthness and a caring character that was revealing itself to me, that I was like, whoa, I was expecting to get worse, but not better. And so that was a very good surprise to me. And I had not really heard that, but I have heard couples that do say as time goes by, it gets better and you get to love the person more and you learn about them more. And actually, a thought came to my mind a few weeks ago that it was like in a friendship. When you start a friendship, you might truly like the person and build a friendship. You know, it can be like a friend, not a relationship, but just a friend. And then as time goes by and the years go by, like my friends that I have from more than a decade ago, it gets better, not worse with time. If you are humble and work through things and keep connected and learning about each other, there's always more to learn, always deeper relationship to be built. And so I was like, why does marriage generally is pinpointed like as time goes by, it gets worse. But other friendships get stronger, and people are high school friends, and then they're in their 80s at the end of their life, and they are still best friends. So I'm like, wait a minute. If you get married, it should get better with time.
Exactly.
If you're truly friends.
Yeah, and I was not really thrilled when people would tell you before we got married that all the nasty things are going to come out and it's going to really become bad, right? In reality, what I've observed is before marriage, especially when you're in your dating period, you need to be who you are. You cannot cover up your real person, real character, and try to pretend someone else that you're not. Because how long are you going to pretend? It's going to be draining, you know? That's why, for me, we both were really raw with each other. When there were issues, we would share what the issues were. When we were really appreciative of each other, we appreciated each other. And we really got to know each other. And that is how it is with the friendships too. People in friendships, they show who they are. They're not going to hide their real character, because in reality, it is draining. It is draining to be someone else that you are not, who you're not.
And to think someone stays with you because they see only part of you, but they will leave if they see your whole, that's not even a true friend. Like,
exactly.
Friends should be there through all the stages of your life, in your happy days, in your days of abundance, in your days that you're struggling, you're low. True friends stick with you through it all.
Yeah, because number one, you're fooling the other person when you're not being real. Number two, you're fooling yourself when you're not being real. And and if there is some negatives that you yourself evaluate and find out, then make the change, right? If I don't know how to keep my house clean, I have to work on it to keep my house clean, or let the other person know this is how the house is gonna be. So when the other person, or when you get married, when the other person sees, they know, okay, he or she has been open with me before marriage, so I know this. I know fully, and I got myself into this. They cannot blame you, they cannot do anything, because they are very clear, right? So I think when people try to hide their real character, their real personality trait, that is when
the true colors
come out, when they get married. And unfortunately, I feel bad for these people that have shared these things with you, because unfortunately they've experienced those things, right?
No, it's real. It's real that it happens, that after marriage, you do, like you say, if the person was not truly honest, or maybe was long distance and the people didn't really know each other before marriage, then you're going to learn. But if you invest time and truly learn and are open, then you might learn more after marriage, but it might be more good
Yes.
than bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like in any friendship, for me, it's so important to see friendship, the example of friendship in marriage. Are friendships perfect and happily ever after? No.
No.
They have their days where they agree. They have their days where they disagree. They have their days that they're best buddies. They have their days that they're like, man, I'm a little tired of this pattern in my friend. But there's a deeper love that keeps you together and fighting for each other and praying for your friend and caring for them and keeping in contact even when sometimes you might not be 100% on the same page. And I think marriage is a lot like it.
Yeah.
So, but friends are always, a blessing and such an inspiration. And without friends, where would we be? That's
Exactly.
a gift from God. And marriage is a friend that never goes away and that you have with you. So
Yes, I agree.
I just love that visual illustration.
My next point would be, this is an imagination. I was thinking we would have a lot of date nights or going on dates. And this is probably not for every single person that would be in relationship and get married, but at least in our situation, it has not been true. We've been trying. We've gone at least one date every month, if not 2 dates. Or, in fact, last year we traveled almost every month. We would travel somewhere,
Yeah.
one state or the other. We would be traveling.
With special outings, so they counted for a few dates.
Yeah, exactly. But expectation was that we would go on frequent date nights. Date nights are great, they build, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is going to be the reality for everyone. It can be reality for some, but not everyone, depending on the workload, whether at workplaces or home, taking care of children, all of that. It might be different for everyone. But in our case, we've tried our best. We have traveled, but it has not been like an consistent, intentional date nights. So that's my expectation versus reality.
And I think it also depends what you count as a date. Sometimes we think a date is really going out
Yeah.
and going to eat or going to a special event. But a date could be just taking out a couple hours in your home to spend quality time together,
Yeah.
watching a documentary or doing something special, quality together. And so if you become more creative, you can include more of those special times, but you definitely need to be very intentional.
Yes.
If not, life, family, goals, work, just the day-to-day routine can take over.
Take over, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for me, another one, and I have to read here the list because to keep me in track. So another thing I thought it was kind of what I was expecting. It was that men generally force their way into the things they want to be done or what they want, basically. So if they are like, this I want, they'll force, they'll get more like controlling and more forceful. And then as a wife, you kind of have to, deal with that reality. And maybe it was because from past experiences again that I saw it, in maybe Hispanic guys or people that I grew up around that kind of that was many times portrayed. But I was expecting, okay, now when I'm married, now it's not going to be a boyfriend that is all nice and pleasing, but it's going to be a husband that is going to be a little dictatorial. But I realized that in our marriage, our reality was that it wasn't like that. We were a teamwork. And that you always valued team.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this? Do you want? We're a team. Let's consult. And from big things, decisions, plans, to small things, to personal things, you would always be reasonable and be very caring of also how I felt and to be a team, not just a solo type of thing. And so that for me was like, wow, this reality is beautiful. And this is probably what even Paul says in, husbands, love your wives like Christ. Because then you want to serve, you want to submit, you want to respect when someone it's not just pushing you around and being like,
It comes more natural
Yeah.
when someone is letting you to be part of the team. You are part of the team, but it all depends on how the other person is treating you, right? When you are not given the options or choices and you are told what has to be done, then automatically in your mind you want to rebel. It's like, hey, wait a minute. You're not my boss, you're my husband, and I also have a voice. I also have to give a say, So, yeah, it is very.
the spirit in which it's done, I think is so important. And I remember guys growing up, they would be like, oh, I like I'm a man because, I can be kind of superior to the ladies and I can control my wife. And I was like, well, hopefully a girl would want that.
Yeah.
So I think God created a beautiful thing of leadership and submission to that leadership. But then it's not coercion or abuse or manipulation to make that leadership role be,
Yeah. Yeah.
in its
yeah.
place. So,
Superior. You want to share the other one? I'll share
What
the
else?
last one in the end.
okay. So the other expectation that I was thinking it would happen like that was that in marriage, we would understand each other fully. They say, oh, you finish each other's sentences and now you know each other more. So in marriage, it would be this blending of two lives. And I think early on we realized, even in our relationship, that was going to be some work that needed to take place.
Yes.
So
yes.
even in marriage, even after we're going to our 4th year this year of being together, not of marriage, but being together, and we realize that it takes a lot of work
Yes.
to actually understand each other's heart. Because you're a guy, you think in one way. I'm a lady, I think in another way. I have my background feelings and information, and I might express few things, and you might make your story of what that means, but it might be completely off, and vice versa when you speak. And so we can jump to conclusions and totally misunderstand each other. And so understanding each other's heart is foundational, but it's
Yes.
something that requires to listen, to ask questions, to not jump to conclusions. And so that has been a challenge in a way,
Yeah.
but so important to develop it. If not, we can really get stuck in very minute things that become huge disagreements or misunderstandings when we don't understand each other. So I guess the expectation was that it would be a little more blending, but the reality is that you have to work a lot on
Work on it.
communication skills.
Correct. And we have to be intentional for it. And I'm pretty sure those people that said that, they have a great marriage, but it is not just their first year, second year, or even fifth year of marriage. They probably had few years of experience, and then they are able to say, oh, I know this person, and this is what she thinks, or this is what he thinks.
And creating healthy patterns of communication in the way to truly, be able to understand each other. So yeah, that was one.
Yeah.
And what is your last one?
My last one is I expected that when we get married, we will continue to have a lot of fun times, like playful times, being lovey-dovey and all of that, because we did that during our relationship time. But after marriage, I can definitely say I enjoyed it even more. We continued to have those fun times and playful times. And I think some people think that doesn't happen because they don't intentionally work on it, work towards it. We have to be very intentional in what we are doing, whether it is friendship, marriage, with children, any relationship. We have to be very intentional. And I can definitely say nothing has changed after we got married in terms of being playful and having fun. We always try to find some time to tease each other and play and all those things
Tickle
and
each other.
tickle each other. Though I don't laugh because I feel tickled. I just laugh for her.
You want me to try?
So it is very vital for us to keep that fire burning in our hearts, like being playful and take some time,
Yeah.
intentionally uh, being there for each other. I remember seeing a video recently, an older couple, this guy interviews an older couple. I think they both are in their 90s. And then he asks them, what should we do to be together so many years? And they've been together for 50 some years or 60 some years.
Wow.
And then they say, well, we do all things together, and we are always laughing about something. We are always playful, and we are talking, and we tease each other. We have fun with life. And if there is no humor, then there is not really a life. And they go for walks every evening. They sit in a park every evening, and you see, those are all intentional things. It doesn't come automatically. You have to make an effort to do those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where even to go and sit in a park, you both have to be in one accord, one mind. Like, okay, we are going to do this every day. You do it.
Spend time together and have fun together.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember a young couple before we got married, they were like, we play pillow fights and we just run around the house, chasing each other, and it's so much fun. You got to have fun together.
Yeah.
And maybe different couples have different personalities. Some are
Exactly.
not so into, some don't like to be tickled, others don't like to be so playful. But find something that you enjoy and that it's, refreshing, youthful, not everything serious. Find your way of having fun and do it together.
Yes.
Like spend time together. And we love chasing each other around sometimes just for the fun of it. And,
Yeah.
trying to get there first or hide or just tickle each other. Like,
Yeah.
I just love how Martin laughs, and when he really laughs, not when he's pretending. And I can make him really laugh. So it's
That's
just,
not
we don't hurt each other through the
Yeah.
teasing, but we just make each other laugh. And laughing is health to the bones. It brings endorphins, dopamine, everything. And it will just make your friendship more pure and like,
It blooms.
yes.
And
yes.
also these playful things are not to show who is stronger or who is faster. It's just to have fun
Yeah.
and keep it lively and more. There's going to be more spice with those things. If you don't do that, then why did you marry the person,
Yeah, it depends what you want to have in your marriage. You
Yeah.
wanted it to be fun, grounded in the Lord, and real, and have a friendship, or did you just want to be married and just partners and yeah.
Just go to work, come home, take care of the meals, and then go to sleep. That's it. There is no spice in life. There is no. And as you said, it is true. Not everyone is into tickling, or not everyone is into playful stuff. But there are people that do puzzles together, jigsaw puzzles. They put them together.
Yeah.
They are doing it together. Even like as I shared about this older couple, just going to a park just to sit together. That's true love, and that's what makes it keep growing. Growing closer to each other.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, we hope these are little tips that you can try implementing as well. And this was our story.
Yes, and if you have a unique way of having fun in your marriage or even in your relationship, please post it in the comment section and share with us. What are your thoughts and how do you do? And also those that are single and you want to have a married life that is nice and spicy and playful, how do you look at it? And also, for married people, what were your expectations and what was the reality? Please share those things. So we would like to read and enjoy the comments as well.
Yes. And remember to subscribe if you want to see more of this content, to like it, and we'll see you next time.
And also, before that, share it with people that you think will need to watch this and get some motivation out of it,
Yes.
or even a blessing out of it. Until next time, this is Raj family.